you do this?
Avengers Doomsday is almost here, and if you want the full experience, there are a few Marvel movies and shows you absolutely should revisit first. This is not just another Avengers sequel. Doomsday is pulling together the MCU, the Fox X-Men universe, the TVA, the Fantastic Four, the new Avengers, and possibly even characters from older Marvel timelines. So if you are wondering what to watch before December, here is the essential list. First, go back to the original Fox X-Men trilogy, X-Men X2 and X-Men The Last Stand. Those movies established the versions of Professor X, Magneto, Cyclops, Mystique, and the other mutants now entering the MCU through the multiverse. Doomsday is not introducing these characters from scratch. It is bringing back actors and relationships audiences already know. Next is X-Men Days of Future Past. This movie already played with timeline changes, alternate futures, and multiple versions of the same characters. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine sends his consciousness back in time and rewrites the X-Men timeline. That kind of reality manipulation could connect directly to Doomsday. Then we have Avengers Endgame. This one is obvious, but it is also essential. The Russo brothers have described Doomsday as a direct continuation of the larger story that ended with Endgame. Tony Stark died. Steve Rogers left the present. Thor walked away from leadership. The Avengers as we knew them disappeared. Doomsday is where those consequences finally collide after that. Watch Loki. Honestly, Loki may be the single most important Marvel series before Doomsday. The show explains the TVA, variants, branching timelines, the collapse of the old multiversal system, and Loki's transformation into the person holding countless realities together. If reality starts breaking apart, Loki will understand the problem better than almost anyone. Then watch Shanghai and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Shanghai disappeared from the center of the MCU for years, but the Doomsday trailer finally brings him back. We see him fighting Channing Tatum's Gambit at the X-Mansion, which suggests he may be directly involved in the Avengers vs. X-Men conflict. His first movie explains the Ten Rings, his family history, and the mysterious signal connected to the rings themselves. Spider-Man No Way Home is another essential rewatch. We still do not have complete confirmation about Spider-Man's role in Doomsday, but it would be strange for Marvel's biggest hero to remain completely outside a multiversal Avengers event. No Way Home also proves that characters from separate Marvel franchises can cross into the same reality. Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland all share the screen, and that idea now sits at the center of Doomsday. Next is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. This movie directly introduces incursions into the MCU. An incursion happens when realities collide and risk destroying each other, and that concept appears central to Doomsday. The movie also gives us alternate universes, variants, and the Illuminati. If Doctor Doom's plan involves sacrificing some realities to save others, Multiverse of Madness helps explain why that choice might exist. Then watch Thor: Love and Thunder. The tone is very different from what we have seen in the Doomsday trailer, but it establishes Thor's life after Endgame, introduces love, and explains where he stands emotionally before his much more serious return. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is also essential. This movie introduces Namor and Talokan while expanding Shuri's role as the new Black Panther. The Doomsday trailer shows Wakanda and Talokan coming face to face again, suggesting their fragile peace may turn into an alliance against something much larger. Then there is the Marvels. This movie may end up being much more important than people expected. At the end, Monica Rambeau becomes trapped in another universe and wakes up near Kelsey Grammer's Beast. That scene strongly suggests she has entered a reality connected to the Fox X-Men. If Doomsday brings those mutants fully into the MCU, the Marvels may contain one of the most direct setup scenes. Deadpool and Wolverine should absolutely be on the list. The movie deals directly with the TVA, dying timelines, anchor beings, and the survival of entire realities. It also introduces Channing Tatum's Gambit, who is now clearly part of the larger story. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman have not been central to the current marketing, but their multiversal adventure is highly relevant. Captain America Brave New World comes next. Sam Wilson is now the MCU's Captain America, and Doomsday appears to place him in a leadership role. Brave New World shows where Sam stands politically, morally, and personally before the next Avengers crisis, while also beginning to rebuild the idea of an Avengers team. Then you need Thunderbolts. This one is not optional. Thunderbolts introduces the team that becomes the new Avengers, gives us Lewis Pullman's Sentry, brings several anti-heroes together, and redefines Avengers Tower. Its post-credit material points directly toward the larger crossover. If Doomsday has multiple Avengers teams arguing over who represents Earth's heroes, Thunderbolts explains why the Fantastic Four First Steps may be the most important film on this entire list. It introduces the MCU's Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, Ben Grimm, and Franklin Richards. More importantly, it is the first project to directly tease Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom. The Fantastic Four also come from a different reality, and their retrofuturistic world appears central to the multiversal crisis. If Doom has a personal connection to that universe, First Steps may contain clues that only become obvious after Doomsday. And finally, there is Spider-Man Brand New Day. This is the last major MCU movie before Avengers, Doomsday, which alone makes it worth watching. Peter Parker is back, Hulk is involved, Punisher appears, and rumors continue to connect Sadie Sink's mystery character to Jean Grey. If that rumor is true, Brand New Day could become another direct bridge between the MCU and the X-Men. There is also a strong chance the ending or post-credit scene sets up Doomsday. So if you want the shortest possible preparation list, I would prioritize Endgame, Loki, Multiverse of Madness, Deadpool and Wolverine, Thunderbolts, The Fantastic Four First Steps, and Spider-Man Brand New Day. But if you want the full experience, the Fox X-Men movies matter too. Because Avengers Doomsday is not only continuing the MCU, it is pulling together more than 20 years of Marvel live-action history. Doomsday may unite entire franchises rather than just one shared universe. So before December, I would start revisiting these projects now. And I want to know which one you think will matter most. Will Loki and the TVA hold the key to saving reality? Will the Fantastic Four explain Doom's true motivation? Or are the X-Men about to become the most important characters in the entire MCU? Because if Marvel is really building towards Secret Wars, Doomsday may be the movie where every old timeline finally becomes part of the same story.